London's most sought-after postcodes had a difficult year as lockdown measures and the downturn in international travel inevitably slowed down sales. With the worst of the pandemic now believed to be behind us, many are set for a strong recovery to ensue. Prime central London real estate declined 4.4% in the 12 months to February 2021, according to the Knight Frank Prime London Sales Report. Those numbers are remarkably robust, given that we're experiencing the worst recession in 300 years. And actually, if you unpack the data further, in the super prime section, i.e. with properties valued at $10 million or above, the Knight Frank sales data also suggests that prices fell just 1% in 2020. And in the final 3 months of 2020, prime London property prices increased by 3.6%, according to Coutts' London Prime Property Index, with a 24% rise in transactions on the previous quarter. With that backdrop in mind, I spoke to Henry Faun, partner at Knight Frank in Dubai, about his clients that he deals with in the Middle East.
Hello, my name is Henry Faun. I'm a partner of Knight Frank based here in the Middle East. I am the head of Knight Frank's private office for the Middle East region and advise my clients locally here in the region of their international real estate portfolios.
So Henry, has COVID weakened demand for London property from the Middle East or strengthened it?
Over the past year, the actual demand for properties in London from the Middle East has remained relatively consistent. Clients still intend to spend time in the UK longer term and send their children to be educated there, perhaps go there for shopping and enjoy the lifestyle that London can offer. Now, the real changes that we've seen over the past year is the actual ability for our clients to action that demand. So perhaps pop on a flight and go over to London for a long weekend and view some properties, which has not been possible at this time. So whilst demand has remained consistent, we haven't seen so many viewings and physical inspections of property. But longer term, we do hope that'll open up in the coming weeks and months as the travel situation eases.
Very interesting. And which parts of London do you see strongest demand for investors from the Middle East at the moment?
For purchasers from the Middle East looking around the central London markets, traditionally those areas that surrounded Knightsbridge and Chelsea, Belgravia, perhaps Mayfair as well, have been the most highly sought after. As we've seen younger generations of the family be educated in the UK and grow up to be in more prominent positions in their family businesses, and they want to look at purchasing real estate in London, we've actually found because they know London so intricately well and other areas beyond those prime central areas, we've seen demand spread across the whole of London, perhaps further west and further east as well.
Is there a particular price point at which transactions from your team tend to complete?
I would look at the price point in two separate categories. One is purely investment, where we're looking at a higher yield and perhaps a lower price point, and that could be anything from £500,000 upward exponentially. The other end is more looking at personal properties and private residences for Middle Eastern families that they will use whilst they're in the UK, and that could be anything from 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 plus or £100 million.
Are there any types of property that are more popular for clients from the region?
In the wider regions of the UK, there have been some areas that were particularly strong purely for investment because the yields there are quite attractive. The northern powerhouse cities, Birmingham, Manchester, or otherwise. More recently, we've seen interest in places like Edinburgh for investment, or even Reading outside of London.
Within London itself, which types of property are most popular?
Still, if they're looking to spend their time there and they want to come out of their property and walk around the hotels, the shops, the restaurants that they know very well, certainly that properties around Mayfair and Knightsbridge still are of interest.